If you're eating keto, hitting your carbs, and still not getting the results you expect, protein is a common hidden lever. Not because protein is bad, but because the amount and timing can quietly change what your liver does with fuel. Ketosis is a state where your body makes and uses ketones as a major energy source. That state depends on low insulin and a steady need for alternative fuel. When protein is higher than your body needs, some of those amino acids can be converted into glucose. That can raise insulin a bit, reduce ketone production, and make your readings look stubborn. The tricky part is that this can happen even when carbs stay low. So the goal isn't eat less protein forever. The goal is to match protein to your lean mass, your training, and your appetite, so fat can do its job. Let's make that practical and easy to adjust. Moving to slide 2. First, let's separate two ideas people mix up. Being in ketosis means your liver is producing measurable ketones. Burning body fat means you're using stored fat over time. They often overlap, but they're not identical. You can have ketones and still not lose fat if total intake is high. And you can lose fat with low ketones if you're in a deficit. Protein matters most for ketosis because it influences insulin and glucose demand. Insulin doesn't only respond to carbs. Protein can stimulate insulin too, especially when combined with low-fat meals. That insulin response is normal and useful for muscle repair. But if protein is consistently beyond what you need, it can keep insulin a little higher than ideal for deep ketosis. Think of ketosis like a dimmer switch, not an on-off button. Your goal is to set the dimmer where you feel good and your results move. Protein is one of the main dials. Moving to slide 3. Here's the mechanism most people are really asking about: gluconeogenesis. That's your liver making glucose from non-carb sources, including certain amino acids from protein. This process is not bad. It's essential. Your red blood cells and parts of your brain still need some glucose. The key point is that gluconeogenesis is demand-driven, but supply can influence it. If you provide a lot of amino acids, you give the liver more raw material. In some people, that can lead to slightly higher glucose and a stronger insulin response than expected on keto. And insulin is a powerful signal that says, we have fuel, slow ketone production. So you may feel like you're doing everything right, but ketones stay low or drop after high-protein meals. This is especially common when protein is very high and dietary fat is low, because the body has less reason to make ketones for energy. The fix is usually a small adjustment, not a dramatic cut. Moving to slide 4. So what does too much protein actually look like? It's not one number for everyone. A 110-pound sedentary person and a 220-pound strength trainee are not playing the same game. The most useful anchor is lean body mass, not total weight. Many keto approaches land in a range like 1.2 to 2.0 grams of protein per kilogram of lean mass, depending on training and goals. If you don't know lean mass, you can start with a simpler range: moderate protein at each meal, not as much as possible. A common stall pattern is protein creeping up because carbs are low and protein feels like the safe food. Then fat gets pushed down, calories stay high, and ketones drift down. Another clue is appetite. If you're rarely satisfied unless you keep adding protein, it may be a sign you're under-eating fat or overall energy. The goal is adequate protein, not maximum protein. Moving to slide 5. Let's talk about the most common real-world scenario: the lean keto plate. It's chicken breast, tuna, egg whites, maybe a protein shake, plus veggies, and very little added fat. Carbs are low, so it feels keto. But the body still needs energy. If dietary fat is low, the body will lean harder on amino acids for glucose and energy. That can keep ketones modest. Also, very lean meals can be less satisfying, so you snack more, and total protein climbs even higher. The fix is not to drown everything in oil. It's to bring the meal back into balance, keep protein moderate, add enough fat for satiety, and keep carbs low. For many people, swapping one lean protein serving for a fattier cut or adding a measured fat source reduces cravings and improves ketone consistency. This is about fuel selection. If you want fat-burning signals, you need fat as a meaningful energy source. Moving to slide 6. Another reason protein can look like the culprit is measurement timing. Ketones naturally move throughout the day. They often dip after meals, especially after protein-heavy meals, and rise later. If you test right after eating, you might catch the dip and assume you're kicked out. That doesn't always mean ketosis is gone. It may just mean your body is using incoming fuel and insulin is temporarily higher. The more useful pattern is consistency across days and how you feel. If you track, test at the same time each day, like morning fasting or a few hours after your last meal. Also remember that urine strips often become less informative once you're adapted because you waste fewer ketones. Blood meters and breath meters can be more consistent, but even those reflect a moment in time. So before you change your diet, make sure your measurement method isn't creating false alarms. Then adjust protein with a clear baseline. Moving to slide 7. Now let's make protein adjustment concrete. Start by setting protein as a target range, not a challenge. If you're stalled, a practical experiment is to reduce protein slightly for 10 to 14 days while keeping carbs steady. Slightly often means cutting 15 to 30 grams per day, not 80. The easiest way is to shrink portions, not remove protein entirely. For example, go from 2 large servings to 1 moderate serving plus 1 smaller serving. Then replace the missing calories with fat, or simply eat a bit less overall if fat loss is the goal and hunger stays controlled. Keep strength training in mind. If you train hard, you still need enough protein to recover. So watch performance, soreness, and satiety. If those worsen, you cut too far. The win condition is stable energy, stable appetite, and better ketone trends over time. Moving to slide 8. Meal structure matters as much as daily totals. If you put most of your protein in one sitting, you can create a bigger glucose and insulin bump than if you spread it out. Many people do a huge protein dinner, then wonder why ketones are low the next morning. A steadier approach is to distribute protein across 1 to 3 meals, depending on your schedule and hunger. Also consider what protein is paired with. Protein with adequate fat tends to be more satisfying and may blunt the urge to keep eating. Protein with very low fat can feel like it disappears, and you keep chasing fullness. If you're doing intermittent fasting, be careful with breaking the fast with a giant lean protein meal. A gentler approach is a moderate protein meal with fat, then another meal later if needed. You're not trying to game your body, you're trying to send a clear fuel signal. Fat is available, and protein is adequate. Moving to slide 9. Protein type can also matter, mostly because it changes how easy it is to overdo it. Liquid protein, like shakes, is the classic example. It's fast, low effort, and not very filling for many people. So it's easy to stack a shake on top of meals and accidentally push protein far above your needs. Very lean processed meats can do something similar because they're dense and easy to eat quickly. Whole food proteins with fat and texture, like eggs, salmon, sardines, or fattier cuts of meat, tend to bring natural breaks because they're more satiating. This doesn't mean shakes are wrong. It means you should treat them like a tool, not a default. If you're stalled, try removing liquid protein for 2 weeks and see what happens. Another lever is choosing slightly fattier protein sources so you can eat less volume and still feel satisfied. That often makes keto easier, not harder. Moving to slide 10. If you want a quick self-check, look for these stall signals that often pair with high protein. One is low or inconsistent ketone readings despite very low carbs. Another is feeling hungry soon after meals, especially after lean meals. Another is stable or rising fasting glucose compared to your usual baseline. Some people also notice sleep getting lighter if they eat a very large protein dinner because glucose and stress hormones can shift overnight. Training matters too. If you're lifting heavy and progressing, you may tolerate higher protein without issues. If you're not training much, the same intake might be excessive for ketosis. Also consider your goal. Therapeutic ketosis targets can be stricter than low carb for fat loss. So define what success means for you. Better energy, appetite control, body composition, or a specific ketone range. Then you can decide how aggressive to be. The point is to use symptoms and trends, not fear, to guide adjustments. Moving to slide 11. Let's build a simple macro framework that prevents stalls. First, keep net carbs low enough for you to stay in your preferred keto range. For many people, that's under 20 to 50 grams net, but your tolerance can vary. Second, set protein to adequate. If you're unsure, start moderate and adjust based on strength, recovery, and hunger. Third, let fat fill the rest, either to maintain weight with good satiety or slightly lower for fat loss while staying comfortable. This is where people get confused. Keto is not automatically high fat. It's low carb with protein set appropriately and fat used as the flexible lever. If you're trying to lose body fat, you don't have to force extra fat. But you also don't want meals so lean that you overeat protein or feel miserable. Think of fat as the satisfaction dial. Turn it up when hunger is high. Turn it down gently when progress is steady. That keeps ketosis stable without extremes. Moving to slide 12. Two more factors can masquerade as too much protein: stress and electrolytes. When you're stressed or sleeping poorly, cortisol can rise and your liver may release more glucose. That can lower ketones even if your diet is perfect. Separately, low sodium, potassium, or magnesium can make you feel tired, crave quick energy, and eat in a way that pushes protein up. Keto increases fluid and sodium loss early on, and some people never fully replace it. If you're stalled and also feel headaches, dizziness, muscle cramps, or low exercise tolerance, consider electrolytes before slashing protein. A simple approach is salting food to taste, using broth, and emphasizing potassium-rich low-carb foods, while being cautious with supplements if you have medical conditions. Also look at caffeine timing and sleep consistency. Ketosis is not just macros, it's a whole-body fuel state. If your nervous system is on high alert, your metabolism behaves differently. Fix the basics and protein often falls into place. Moving to slide 13. Let's turn this into an action plan you can follow without obsessing. Step 1. Lock carbs where you know you do well and keep them consistent for 2 weeks. Step 2. Set protein to a moderate target and remove easy overages, like extra shakes or constant snacking on lean meat. Step 3. Add enough fat to feel satisfied at meals, especially if hunger is driving you back to protein. Step 4. Choose one measurement method and one time of day, and track trends. Step 5. Reassess after 10 to 14 days. If ketones rise, hunger improves, and weight or measurements move, you found your lever. If nothing changes, protein may not be the main issue, and you can look at total calories, hidden carbs, alcohol, sleep, or training load. Keep it calm and scientific. Keto works best when you treat it like a system, not a moral scorecard. One small adjustment at a time. Moving to slide 14. To wrap this up, remember the core idea. Ketosis is sensitive to insulin and fuel demand, and protein can influence both. If your protein is higher than your body needs, especially alongside low-fat meals, ketones can stay lower than you expect. The adjustment is usually modest. Set protein to an adequate range, distribute it across meals, and stop drinking extra protein out of habit. Then use fat strategically for satiety, not as a contest. If you want one simple rule, it's this. Keep carbs low, keep protein appropriate, and let fat be the lever that keeps you comfortable. If you'd like, I can help you troubleshoot your specific situation. Leave a comment with your choice. Are you more often stalled with A, high-protein meals, or B, hidden carbs? And if you want more clear, practical nutrition breakdowns like this, subscribe for future videos. Moving to slide 15. One last note, because it keeps people from unnecessary frustration. If you're using keto for performance or body composition, you may not need very high ketone numbers. Many well-adapted people run on lower readings and feel great. If you're using keto for a medical reason, targets and supervision can be different, and precision matters more. Either way, the safest approach is steady habits, careful tracking, and small adjustments. Start with the most likely culprits: protein creep, lean meals, and liquid protein. Then confirm with consistent measurements and how you feel. If you change 3 things at once, you'll never know what worked. Keep it simple, keep it repeatable, and give your body enough time to respond before you judge the result. This information is not a substitute for medical advice. Fix the metabolism, not just the symptoms.